What's up, Cole World? I know it's been a minute since I posted on this channel, but today I'll be ranking the top 10 hardest games to go pro in. A few weeks ago, I posted this TikTok of a tier list of the hardest games to go pro in, and it performed way better than expected, with over 1 million views across the 3 parts. And to be honest, I didn't do a ton of research. After that video went viral, I decided to do way more research, go more into depth in this subject, and make a YouTube video out of it. And in that TikTok, I ranked a lot more games. In this video, I'll be ranking only the top 10 hardest games to go pro in, and in a future video, I'll be doing the top 10 easiest games to go pro in. To start my research, I found the top 22 most popular games with pro scenes based on their viewership on Twitch and their prize pools. Here's the 22 games I researched. I'll just post them around here. Before I start my list, I want to break down the parameters that I'll be using to rank the difficulties to go pro in that particular game. There are 4 parameters I'll be looking at to rank the difficulty. Number 1, player count. I'll be looking at the last 12 monthly averages to get a total average. And so basically just seeing how many people actually play the game. Number 2, number of opportunities. How many spots are available on those pro scenes on the pro teams? Number 3, skill ceiling. How difficult is it to master that game? Some games have a higher skill ceiling, like Fortnite, compared to a game like TFT. And number 4, barrier of entry. How do you get into that pro scene? How do you get into the CDL? Do they have challengers, qualifiers, anything else that can lead to you getting exposure to get into the game? Or is it an open format like Fortnite? However, I'll be mostly focusing on player count versus number of opportunities, because that is the most objective and quantifiable, while things like skill ceiling can be subjective. Plus, all these games require an immense amount of skill and dedication to go pro in that game anyways. I will only be factoring in skill and barrier of entry for kind of a tiebreaker for games that are close when it comes to player count versus number of opportunities. With that being said, here's the top 10 hardest games to go pro in. Number 10, CSGO. With 35 million monthly players and 740 current pro players, the odds of going pro in CSGO is 1 in 47,300. CSGO is an industry leader when it comes to esports, but with the sheer number of leagues and tournaments, there are many opportunities in the pro scene, especially with the declining player base over the last couple of years. Number 9, Fortnite. With 278 million monthly players and 2,029 current pro players, the odds of going pro in Fortnite is 1 in 137,000. The odds of becoming pro are higher compared to some later entries in this list. However, there is no barrier of entry when it comes to Fortnite due to their open format tournaments, which naturally makes it easier to go pro compared to games that do have a barrier of entry, whether it's having connections or getting exposure via social media. Number 8, Valorant. With 14 million monthly players and 120 current pro players, the odds of going pro in Valorant is 1 in 118,300. Valorant has lower odds compared to Fortnite, but with the odds being so close, I decided to rank Valorant higher due to the fact you essentially need to have some sort of social media following or connection to make it on a pro team. Number 7, League of Legends. With 126 million monthly players and 995 current pro players, the odds of going pro in League is 1 in 126,600. When esports comes to mind, League is one of the first games people think of. League has been a powerhouse in the esports scene for many years, and although it's extremely difficult to make it pro, there are more opportunities in League compared to other games later in this list. League has a great support system with many different leagues, which simply leads to more roster spots. Number 6, Apex Legends. With 117 million monthly players and 420 current pro players, the odds of going pro in Apex is 1 in 278,600. Apex is in full stride right now. Their player base is thriving and their esports scene is growing. However, they're still in their infancy when it comes to their pro scene, which means there's less leagues, roster spots, and opportunities at the moment. But this can change in the near future as ALGS and other potential leagues continue to grow. Number 5, Teamfight Tactics. With 30 million monthly players and 32 current pro players, the odds of going pro in TFT is 1 in 937,500. TFT actually has the second lowest odds when it comes to going pro. That's due to the fact there's not much of a pro scene at the moment. There are open qualifiers for their major tournaments, however, they are a limited number of those who qualify. I cannot justify ranking any higher since it does have the lowest skill ceiling of any of these games on this list. Number 4, Rocket League. With 95 million monthly players and 246 current pro players, the odds of going pro in Rocket League is 1 in 386,200. I have not played Rocket League myself, but I have been told it has an extremely high skill ceiling and is difficult to master the mechanics. With that being said, they do have a great pro scene with the RLCS. In addition to that, they have a great support and exposure system with community tournaments and the RCL. Number 3, Call of Duty. With 30 million monthly players and 60 current pro players, the odds of going pro in COD is 1 in 500,000. Call of Duty has revolutionized esports with a CDL, and doing so with a limited amount of opportunities. Like Riot Games, COD is strict when it comes to their esports licensing rights. That's why you won't see many other leagues or tournaments that could lead to more opportunities. They do have a path to pro circuit with challengers, but there's still an extremely limited amount of roster spots available. Number 2, PUBG. With 527 million monthly players and 592 current pro players, the odds going pro in PUBG is 1 in 890,200. PUBG is another pioneer when it comes to esports, and to be honest, I was surprised to see that their player base is still thriving. Compared to most of the other games on this list, PUBG does have a lot of roster spots. However, the player base for PUBG is still gigantic, which means the odds of going pro are slim. Number 1, Free Fire. With 320 million monthly players and 240 current pro players, the odds going pro in Free Fire is 1 in 1.3 million. Until I started doing research for this video, I've actually never heard of Free Fire, but with their player base and prize pool, I had to include them on this list. Apparently the game is extremely popular in Asian countries, and although they have a huge player base and a large esports scene, there's still not a lot of opportunities when you compare it to the sheer number of people that play this game. It is interesting to point out that there could be some potential opportunities here in the US since the game and the pro scene has not caught on yet. Just maybe something to look into. And that's my top 10 hardest games to go pro in. If you agree, make sure to like and sub. If you disagree, make sure to comment and sub. That's going to do it for this video. Keep an eye out for the top 10 easiest games to go pro in, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.